Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. The center can no longer hold. Things are falling apart in William Ruto's camp. Some very close William Ruto allies who campaigned for him for the presidency are up in arms against him. They are accusing William Ruto of abandoning and betraying them. One such individual is Ferdinand Waititu, former Kiambu governor. In this video, I want us to have a look at some remarks made by Waititu as reported by NTV. Remarks that confirms there is trouble in paradise. NTV Kenya, Waititu to Ruto, why have you forsaken me? I am one of those people who campaigned for President Ruto and his deputy. I even donated my cars, including a Toyota Tundra that was commonly referred to as the Beast because of its fancy modifications. Now I am an isolated man, and it seems I've been forgotten. Those close to the president do not want to see me speaking to him directly. Mr. Waititu told the nation on Sunday. Yes. So Waititu is literally saying that Ruto has abandoned him. Ruto has betrayed him. There are people surrounding William Ruto who do not want anybody, any person, to get access to William Samoei Ruto. And these remarks by Waititu, a good majority of some leaders who campaigned for William Ruto, they might be going through what Waititu is currently going through. In this video, I'll explain what this means and why I strongly believe these remarks by Waititu exposes the lie William Ruto sold to Kenyans, that the cases that were facing some individuals, such as Waititu, were politically instigated by Uhuru Kenyatta's government because those individuals were supporting him. I believe that Waititu's admission, or rather Waititu's sentiments, confirms that. Let's dig deep into the story. Yes. If you go through that story, Waititu is talking about his corruption cases. And is making it very clear from that story that when they were campaigning for William Ruto, Ruto assured them that the cases were going to be dropped. And he's saying that he has seen some cases being dropped, but his cases are not being dropped. What does this mean, ladies and gentlemen? Even before I dig deep into that, let me say this. Ruto's government is corrupt to the core. We have seen individuals who were accused of corruption and some had even been found guilty. Individuals such as Rigathi Gachagua. High Court had found Rigathi Gachagua guilty in about 200 million Kenya shillings case of corruption. The amount was seized by asset recovery. Upon William Ruto assuming power, Rigathi has been set free. So it appears that those cases are being dropped selectively. And that's what I want us to discuss and to find out the games being played behind the scenes and what that shows us about corruption fighting in Kenya. The first thing coming out very clearly, Ruto's government is fighting corruption selectively. If they feel you add them some value, your corruption cases can be dropped. If the government feels you are adding them no value, then your corruption cases are not being dropped. So the government is not fair on the way it fights corruption. It's actually fighting it selectively. Secondly, Ruto lied to Kenyans that some of the cases, or rather the cases that faced some individuals such as Waititu, were politically instigated by Uhuru Kenyatta's government. If they were politically instigated by Uhuru Kenyatta's government, why are they not dropping this one of Waititu? Because if Ruto believes that his government is a fair government and that the cases were politically instigated, then Waititu, just as the other corrupt individuals, should be set free. I believe William Ruto lied to Kenyans. Uhuru Kenyatta's government was very truthful on its fight against corruption. Ruto and his team turned the war against corruption into a political tool. And they convinced some Kenyans that the cases were politically instigated against leaders who were supporting him. The truth of the matter, from what we are seeing and witnessing in this government, and from these remarks by Waititu, the cases were not politically instigated. Uhuru Kenyatta's government was right in pressing corruption cases against individuals such as Ferdinand Waititu. The only problem with William Ruto is that some goons, some crooks, some criminals are being let scot-free as others are actually being arrested and their cases not being dropped. That's the only problem. The third issue coming out very clearly, some individuals who supported William Ruto are now coming to terms with the reality that Ruto lied to them, just as the hustlers are also coming to terms with the reality that William Ruto lied to them, that he was going to form a government with them. Even leaders, some of William Ruto's allies, are coming to terms with the reality that kumbe Ruto aliwacheza. Yes. So they are learning the hard way. They are actually regretting. And from where I sit, let them continue regretting till Jesus comes back. Another issue coming out very clearly, it's a fact beyond any reasonable doubt that this is a government that instead of fighting corruption is abating corruption. It's actually abating corruption. And just as I've explained, if you fight corruption selectively, you are actually abating corruption. If you drop cases against corrupt individuals, you are making those individuals conduits of corruption in that they now feel emboldened because the appointing authority is actually their security. This is a government abating corruption in broad daylight. That's something coming out very, very clearly. As I conclude, the mountain is feeling the heat. The mountain is feeling the heat. From one leader to another, even some leaders in government, we are seeing some complaining that Ruto should change them. So it appears that the mountain is suffering more than any other region in Kenya. And that brings me to a conclusion that the mountain is the most gullible team or community as far as political machinations are concerned. Ruto knows for a fact that he can easily mislead or cheat the mountain. That's why so many complaints are coming from the mountain. The mountain should wake up. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to support our forum, I've pinned my number on the comment section. If you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give this video a like. God bless you. God bless Kenya.